Okay. Well, the E2 visa is an investor visa, so it's different than a lot of other visas you may have read about or heard of. It requires, first of all, that you be a native or citizen of a country that has a treaty with the United States in this regard. So, and there are about 80 countries, more or less 80 countries. So the first thing is, if you're not from one of those countries, you're not eligible for this. Canada is obviously one of those countries. So if you're a Canadian national, you're fine. So that's the first thing. You need to be eligible in that regard. Then you need to, since it's an investor visa, not surprisingly, you need to invest something. You need to invest in a U.S. business, and you need to invest a substantial amount. That's the legal test. And then the question becomes, what's that mean? What's substantial mean? The law doesn't specify that. It really depends on the nature of your business. What you plan to do here, you need to invest enough to demonstrate a commitment to it, the success and growth of your business. It needs to look like you've invested enough where you're likely to succeed. And the investment needs to be proportional to the type of business that you're going to have here in the United States. Okay. But people always still want a number. And I'll give you what I think that number is in practice. The amount, what qualifies as a substantial investment for E2 visa purposes depends on where you're coming from, because you're going to be dealing with most of the time the U.S. embassy or consulate in your home country, and they differ in terms of what they consider to be substantial. But with Canada, let's talk about Canada for a second. Canadians, a lot of Canadians have come down to the United States on an E2 visa and have made this investment, and the United States has a very friendly relationship with Canada, and Canadian entrepreneurs are encouraged to come here and invest. And so the standard is, okay, the typical standard, I like to say it's around 100,000. If you're less than 100,000 and you're investing in the U.S. company, then your likelihood of success starts to drop. Doesn't mean you can't win, get your visa. It just means a red flag goes up that you have to overcome. So I like to see my clients, even from Canada, invest at least 100,000. If you can invest 200,000, great. But that doesn't make sense if it's a service business, for example, some sort of consulting business or IT. It's hard to invest. It's almost impossible to invest that kind of money. But try to be around 100,000. In Canada, I've seen plenty of successful cases in the 80,000 to 100 range. But again, I encourage my clients to invest at least 100,000 to sort of jump over that criteria, that requirement of a substantial investment. See? By the way, for example, if you've invested, let's say you invested 100,000, but your business is going to sell products, right? You have a retail store or something, and you haven't invested in any inventory. Well, then you're going to have a problem, because even though you spent a lot of money, you have nothing to sell. You don't look like you're ready. So you got to look like you're ready to. Okay. There are other requirements. That's the main one. One of the main ones, substantial investment. Your business should be open or nearly open. I like to encourage my clients to go ahead and open it, get it open, preferably with at least one employee, but it's not a requirement. There is a requirement. You should be ready to hire people over the next 5 years, because it's a 5-year visa from Canada for Canadians. But it's great. They love to see, the embassy loves to see that you've hired someone, your business is open, or at least that you have a commitment to hire Americans or green card holders over the next 5 years. Okay. Your business is another requirement. The other requirement is called marginality. Your business can't be marginal, which means small, which means it's likely only to support you and your family, and that's it. They're looking for more than that. Okay. That doesn't mean your business has to have a lot of success and revenue right away. It just means that your plan should be that it's going to be a big business, that it's going to grow, that it's going to hire people, that over the next 5 years, you're likely to see that kind of success, enjoy that kind of success. And the business plan, which we'll talk a lot about in this webinar, is critical in that respect, right? The substantial investment can't be passive. Okay. It must be an active investment. Your money's got to be, okay, number one, it can't be a passive investment like investment in stocks or real estate that you're going to flip. It has to be something you make an investment. You're going to come down here, direct and develop the business and grow it. Okay. Active. Also, and this is key, your investment must be at risk. It can't be money you just put in a bank account. You actually have to spend it. And so your money is now not only spent, but there's a risk of loss, because if your business fails, you lose the money, right? So they're looking for that. Are you taking a risk? And what else? You have to also clarify to the embassy that you realize that when your E2 status expires, that you're going to return to Canada or whatever your home country is. The E2 visa, for Canadians, is 5 years. You can renew it indefinitely, maybe for a lifetime, as long as your business is operational and all that. But you, at least in the beginning, have to be aware that it's a non-immigrant visa and that when your status expires, for whatever reason, you will agree to return to Canada. So that's a lot. Those are a lot of requirements, but I hope you don't mind me going on there. But I do think that people will come to these webinars and come watch these videos looking for answers. And those are the main requirements. Now we're going to talk about some of the specifics on how you meet them.